Welcome to a new episode of React Native Weekly. This is a show whereby I talk about the latest developments, interesting things which happened in React Native, any interesting tweets or news. So if you're looking forward to anything like that, please subscribe to this channel. I've also linked as well a link to my newsletter if you want to get this through your mail, and enjoy. So this is episode 2 of the React Native Weekly show. So this is for the week ending on 28 May 2023. So the first top story I'm gonna cover is that 2 React Native apps made it to the Apple App Store top 5 for the entertainment genre. This just talks about how the caliber of React Native, how important it is for mobile development in general. So the apps that were in the top 5 are Character AI and Wash TNT. So they are both based in America, but then they have an international reach. So Character AI is basically an app which uses the large language models you can almost imitate anyone or talk to anyone who is living or has passed away. So basically they use artificial intelligence to mimic that person. So it's quite a pretty cool app, and you can see that you can almost do anything that you want here. You can talk to Elon Musk, you can talk to summarize, can do really interesting things, and it's part of the growing trend that we're seeing, that whereby large language models are almost taking over everything. The second app is Wash TNT. Wash TNT is basically an app owned by believe the Discovery Group, or the Warner Bros as well. So it's just you can watch live shows, drama, and a couple of other channels within that app. So it's pretty cool that it's made from React Native, and we see that it's ranking amongst one of the biggest apps out there, which is TNT, which is TikTok, and HBO Max. So interestingly, this was raised by Evan Bacons. He also raised another interesting one, which is something which I've been seeing as well, that food companies actually love React Native. I wonder why. Is it because React Native developers love food? Could be, but we saw that one of the top apps out there, which are food apps and food and drink apps on the iOS store, are made using React Native, and we see that also other hybrid platforms as well are following the trend as well. So it's quite cool to see. I mean, the more apps which use React Native, the better the community will be. So this is pretty cool. Also, the third story I'm going to cover now is Chain React. We all know that Chain React happened in May this month, which is 18 to 19, and it was following app.js, which happened the week before. So that's pretty cool, and it's cool to see these big conferences which evolve around React Native, which just makes it easy for React Native developers to find other like-minded individuals to share the knowledge and also to learn, and for companies as well to focus their releases towards one event, so we can all be able to get in the loop of what's new. So that's why I love these conferences. But unfortunately, unlike app.js, Chain React was a private event, in the sense that there was no YouTube live stream. You had to go to the actual event in Portland and be there, which is not something which is possible for all React Native developers. But regardless, we got like a couple of updates from people who attended via Twitter, and a lot of things were announced. And I think you can just follow the hashtag ChainReact tweet on Twitter to get a link to all the announcements, because people were documenting it as it happens. So maybe I can just highlight one of them, which is the Messenger app, which teamed up with the Microsoft team to migrate from Electron to React Native for their macOS and React Native app and Windows app, I mean. So it's quite pretty cool to see these big companies which are rivals in a way. They are rivals, but we're seeing them teaming up. This is Meta or Facebook teaming up with Microsoft right now to create an app for the macOS and the Windows platform. And that's one thing about React Native, it just brings people together. Like these companies typically wouldn't like, in the public they don't show that they work together, but we see now that actually React Native is one of those platforms that actually can bring them together. This is pretty cool. So they saw like this is obvious, like if you use React Native you're gonna see these improvements. They saw improvements like a faster startup, lower memory usage, smaller binary size, less native crashes, which is pretty cool. So I've placed the link to all these announcement or stories in the description, so do check it out, or in the show notes as well. So another one that I'm gonna talk about is Reanimated by Software Mention. Already know Software Mention is already doing a lot in this React Native space. So they released like the beta for their documentation for the new React Native Reanimated. So it's pretty cool, and I always love the animation, the running horse. I just think it's quite cool. Yeah, so they just released new docs. They look very nice, and that's one thing about them. The documentation is always on point, and that's pretty cool. So they cover like both Expo and the CLI method of installing React Native apps. So this is pretty cool, and do check it out. The link is in the description or in the show notes. So the next story I'm going to talk about is Vision Camera. So we know that Mark is working on the React Native Vision Camera, which is quite cool on its own, but we saw new developments. We know that he's working on version 3 of the library. So he just demoed like a new way to interact with your camera using TensorFlow or machine learning, if you can say, or vision or image recognition, and this happens in real time. There's no post-processing of any kind, and I think this is quite cool, and we gonna see a lot of React Native apps using TensorFlow, using machine learning, using real-time image recognition in apps. So this is pretty cool. Do check it out. Also in the same light as well, we saw another interesting one from the community, whereby like using now Expo and the Expo camera with TensorFlow to do almost a similar thing, whereby they're doing Amit is doing a demo whereby he's using React Native to detect the hand gestures. So everything's happening real time, and it's using Expo. So he also linked the link to the GitHub if you wanna try it out and check it out. So I've posted that also in the description. It's cool to see something like stuff like this happening from the community. So the next one, just also talking about like just like maybe like quick bits for this one. So there is a demo which was done by Kepper on using reanimated shared element transitions and blur view. So it's quite a sick, if I can use that word, it's like really cool like demo where like you see the transitions, they're very smooth, and you can see the blur as well in the background. The shared elements, like they're working quite remarkably so well. So this is quite cool. Also, the link to the GitHub repo for you to try out this demo per se is in the description, so do check it out. The last one I'm going to cover from the stories is a blog post which is also covered by Sebastian, who does the weekly React and React Native updates as well. So this is coming from him. So it's just like the best practices and tricks to use Maestro with React Native. You would have seen from app.js that there was some announcement around Maestro and how it is strengthening its support for React Native. So I'll link as the video or the app.js video whereby they're doing announcement on Maestro in the description of the app notes. So do check it out. This article actually does a pretty good job in just showcasing the best practices when it comes to Maestro and React Native. This is quite cool, so it's in the description. So the last one I'm gonna talk about is I tried to at the end talk about projects that you should just check out, and this time it's by Amit, and it's a Airbnb clone, if I can say, for the animations. We saw really interesting animations which came from the Airbnb team for their hosts. They're quite smooth, they're quite interesting, and you can see that it's very interesting. Like, it's just something which is, I was asking myself, can it be done with React Native? And the answer is yes, it can be done. So this is actually React Native now doing the same animations from the Airbnb app. So yeah, this is quite cool, and it's good to see that like you can actually do something comparable with React Native. So Amit has a link. I've posted the link to Amit's tutorial or YouTube tutorial in the description if you want to check it out. Cool. This has been a React Native Weekly. So if you're looking for more stories on React Native and weekly updates, come back to the show next week. I will put the link to the show notes, to the notes that I'm following. But if you simply want these notes to come directly to your email, do sign up for my weekly newsletter. So this is pretty cool, and have a great week.